Okay, hi guys, welcome to our event. Hope you are enjoying our golden week. So, this is our second day in cloud computing workshop. So, just a small reminder that in order to get your certificate, you have you have to watch the three events and then do the task that will send to you at the end of each event. So our speaker is Mr. Siru Subramaniam, is an accomplished software architect who has double bachelor's in engineering from the College of Engineering Gwindi, Anna University, India, and also a master's in management from Harvard University. He also has 18 plus years of professional experience working across India, UK, USA, and SA. In addition to 6 plus years of experience in cloud and 10 plus years of experience in big data industry. Mr. Zero is currently based in London and has spent most of his time serving clients in the banking sector and helping customers to implement cloud security. Mr. Zero, the screen is yours.
Thank you very much, Zaina. Marhaba, Beirut. Hope everybody's doing well. And I've been following the sessions which you guys have been having, and it's a great effort from the IEEE union that you have, and great effort from Zaina as well. It's my pleasure to talk to you guys today. And today we will try to cover, touch upon the basics of what is a PaaS and what is a SaaS. Okay, so PaaS being platform as a service and SaaS being software as a service. So what I will do is that today, I think I would prefer to have this as an interactive session rather than just full of theory and me just going through the slides. So I'm hoping good participation from you guys as well. Okay. Is that fair enough to ask? Are you guys ready and excited to start learning about PaaS and SaaS?
Yes, sure.
Okay, cool. So excellent. So I think let's start with some basics, right? So how many people have heard of LAMP stack? Has anybody used the? I believe most of you must have used Linux, an Apache server, and PHP, MySQL.
Yes, I'm pretty familiar with the LAMP.
Okay, excellent.
With this,
Excellent, excellent. So maybe you can tell us what is LAMP? Why is it so famous in the world?
it's mainly
Yes,
famous because it's used popularly with software, especially with web, like MySQL for databases and PHP as backend for websites, and Linux being used as an operating system, which is much more easier and practical than Windows and iOS.
Yeah, absolutely. Spot on. So I think back maybe 10, 20 years ago, so back then when the entire web development industry was picking up, uh, if you had to develop something without using proprietary software, meaning without paying license for Microsoft Windows or buying Oracle or buying a web server or anything of those sorts, then LAMP is the predominant stack, and this is all completely open source and it's free to use for everybody. Okay, so that's basically the LAMP stack. So this is like the dream stack for anybody who wants to build a website. So that this is the fastest and the cheapest way to build a website and host it for your customers. So for the course of this exercise, so during this session, let's say that I don't know, is baklava the famous sweet in Beirut, or what's the famous dessert in Beirut? Is baklava, or what is famous?
Yes, most probably.
Okay, so let's say that we are going to build a website to sell baklava online. Okay, so that's going to be the uh, our objective, and let's see how we would do it without cloud, with cloud, and with PaaS, with SaaS, and everything. Okay, so if you were to build a website, so you would obviously need a database, and you will need something like a PHP thing, and you will need an operating system. So let's pick LAMP stack, and I think we will build a basic website wherein we will list all the different types of baklavas that we do, where people can hit, let's say, www.baklava.com, and they will come and see the website. Okay, so we have built the website. So now we have to make the website, host the website somewhere so that it's available for public to visit and order. Okay, so so in order for us to host this website, if we were to do the traditional model, so then we would need a couple of Linux servers wherein you will have Apache Web Server installed and also PHP installed, and you will have a database behind the scenes, and we will have a load balancer. For people who don't know load balancer, I think you can ignore it for now. But basically, you will need to buy a box. Okay, so you'll have to go to the shop. You'll have to buy a server hardware. You'll have to buy a PC, and you'll have to come to your home, connect it to an internet, and you'll have to put the code there. So when somebody hits www, when the user from here hits www.baklava.com, goes through the internet, then goes to the server, then they see the website, and they can do, then they can place their order. Is this clear so far? In sense, like, has anybody done any of this stuff before? Has anybody hosted a website using a traditional server, bought your own server, and done things like this?
I wouldn't consider localhost a server, but yeah, I've done a website before and used the lamp stack.
Okay, excellent. And so now, obviously, so let's say that we are starting a website today, and for us to host a website, what are the different things we need? We need to buy a server. We need to have good internet. We have to have um, somebody who can maintain the server, and also somebody who can code the website. Okay, so there are 3 or 4 different things which we need, and all these things will become, so these servers will become like one-time investment. Okay, so currently we don't have any customers. We are a small company. We are going to start, and we just want to try out this thing. And if it starts making revenue, then probably we would want to invest more, hire people, and those sort of things. Okay, so typically, if you were to do some sort of this setup, it would cost you somewhere between $1,000 to $2,000 just for buying the server and to get your basic website up and running. Okay, and in addition to that, there will be human cost involved in paying somebody who can understand the server, manage the server, manage the website, and all those sort of things. Okay, so if suppose you have $2,000 and you want to invest on it, and you want to build everything before even you bring up your site and you make your first sale, then this was the approach 10 years back. And honestly, I think this is what something which prevented most of the small businesses from going online. So that's why it was always the game of big companies like Amazon and eBay and all those companies, because they had the people, they had the investment, they could do this investment to build a website. Okay, so this used to be the case until cloud came into picture. So if suppose we don't want to buy any of these things, we want to do a pay as you go model. So if I want to just get these things for 1 week, okay, so let's say I want to rent these things for 1 week, host my website, see how many baklavas I sell in a week, and if I make good progress, good profit, then I would want to progress forward. Otherwise, I think I have got nothing to lose. I make a small investment, I learn, and either I improvise on it, or I throw out the idea and just leave it. So if you want to do such a thing, then it is possible with cloud. Okay, in this model, if suppose you make all these investments, and in a week or two, or you try for a year and none of this works, then the entire thing you have to throw it away, and it's only you are using it. Okay, so in comes cloud. So now with cloud, what happens is you can get. I think this diagram is a bit more clouded. It has too many things in the picture. You don't have to worry too much about understanding each and every piece of it. But essentially, this is like the simple stack for hosting your website in the cloud. So this, in essence, is almost the same as this, but without purchasing any hardware, anything. So you basically get the same thing. You go to Amazon.com and you say that I want two Linux machines with EC. They call it as EC2. So the product is called as EC2. I want two Linux machines, and I want two instances of the database. I want to run it in two different zones. I think basically this is like primary and secondary, or what happens if one site completely fails. You can have a secondary availability zone as well running, and you want to have a load balancer and basically an internet gateway wherein things can come in. This is, I don't want to go too deeper into this one, but essentially for the purpose of our understanding, we can say that the same thing, we are going to do it in a more pay as you use model, wherein I would want to run the website only for one day. I will rent all these things in the cloud for a day. I'll try out my things. If they work, then I will go forward. Otherwise, I will shut it down, and there's nothing to lose for me. Okay. And in the cloud, you can rent these instances for as little as 1 hour, a minute, 5 minutes, whatever it is. If you use it for only 5 minutes, you pay only for 5 minutes. If you use it for 1 month, you pay for 1 month. And let's say if you want to use it for a year, then you can prepay and buy it for the prepay for the whole year and for a much cheaper cost. So in this model, so let's say if we are baklava.com, we want to host our website. If we take this model, you go to the cloud, and possibly you will pay $100 or $50 a month. That's it. That's your entire investment for getting the necessary infrastructure for hosting your website. And this infrastructure will be very solid, and it's the same infrastructure what Amazon or Google or whomever is running. So for a small business owner, suddenly you have the same set of tools that somebody big like Amazon can have, and you have a sudden level playing field, at least in terms of infrastructure. You can compete with them. So any questions here? So far, is it clear?
Yes, it's clear. So it's cheaper to
Yes,
use
it's clear. Thank you.
these services instead of using the LAMP.
No, I think still the software stack is still LAMP. You are still using LAMP and everything. Only difference is you're not paying for the hardware. You're not buying your servers and everything. You don't need to you don't need to even own a keyboard to have all these things. Everything Amazon will handle it behind the scenes, or Azure or Google will handle behind the scenes for you. You go to online and say that I want a LAMP instance, LAMP EC2 instance. You say that You click a button, and immediately you will get a VM, and that's it. You don't have to worry whether there is power or is the VM safe, security, is there somebody continuously monitoring these things? Nothing. You just log in, you go, you say that I want a Linux LAMP mission, click on it, you'll get a LAMP mission, and you just log in and you just use it. Same for the database as well. So if you were to have your own host your own server, then you will have to do the installation of the SQL DB, and you'll have to make sure that the DB is up and running. You have to make sure that power is not going down. You'll have to make sure that you have good internet connection and everything. So in terms of Amazon or any cloud, you don't have to worry about anything on the hardware side. Everything is taken care. And also the Amazon team will make sure you have 99.99% reliability, meaning the VM will be up and running, no issues, nothing. So basically for somebody who is starting very small, if I want to start a website today, I don't need this $2,000 investment, or I don't need specialists who can take care of these servers, and I don't have to worry about any of these things. I can just go here, get it, get the same level of services and everything. I will get a VM provisioned. I can log into the shell and I can go ahead and do my coding. Does it make sense?
Yes, that's really great, actually.
Yes.
Yeah, and also I think I will briefly touch upon this availability zone concept, but I won't go too deeper in it because that's a bit more advanced. But I will briefly touch upon this. Okay, so let's say you are based out of Beirut. Okay, and we have your server in Beirut somewhere, and or maybe let's take Tokyo Japan for example. Okay, so you have your for some reason, for some weird reason, you have your server hosted in Japan. You have your boxes and everything. You have your data center and everything. And let's say there was an earthquake or a tsunami or power failure or whatever happens. Okay, your website will be down. Okay, there's if suppose some natural disaster happens or some power grid goes away and all those sort of things, and let's say you're running google.com, we are not baklava.com for a minute, but let's say we are running google.com from Japan, and then if there is an outage for 6 hours, then nobody gets access to the website. Okay, so how do we avoid those sort of scenarios? So that's where availability zones comes into picture. So what happens is, normally if you go to AWS or any of the clouds, you will see that there is a concept called availability zones. Okay, there are two concepts. One is a region and one is an availability zone. So region, I think if you take Amazon AWS, it has regions throughout the world. Okay, so you have in US, you will have one region in you'll have 6 or 7 regions for each and every time zone. And so basically region is somewhere what's the closest throughout the world. If you, from anywhere anybody wants to host a website, there should be some place which is closer to them. So for example, for UK, we have a region called London. Okay, so if I were to host a website for people in London, I would host the website there. That's the region. But within that region, I'll have 3 availability zones normally. Okay, which means there will be 3 separate data centers which are based closely around this London. So if normally it will each data center will be maybe 100 miles or 100 kilometers away, and but all belonging to the London region. So what this offers is, so now websites like Google or your banking website or anybody where you really cannot, you don't want the website to be down even for a minute or a second, and you don't want any data to be lost if the entire London center goes away or entire availability zone goes away, then what you can do is you can deploy the website. You can deploy the websites in 2 availability zones. Okay. So what happens is, if suppose this particular area has a huge power failure, if suppose somebody is hitting google.com, the traffic will get automatically redirected to availability zone 2. Okay. And when the power comes back, then it will go back there. So you can do loads of those sort of things, because I know for a small website like baklava.com, we don't have to think that much. But if you are running some website like google.com, Facebook, or amazon.com, okay, so let's say amazon.com, you have millions of users logging in from throughout the world. And let's say if I'm logging in from India to amazon.com, and if the server is hosted in US, all my requests are going to be slow because it has to go to US and come back. So you can basically geographically distribute your website and install your website in multiple regions and multiple availability zones, which will improve the speed, and also it will improve the resiliency. So if suppose one center goes away, your end users will still not see a huge difference at all. So yeah, so that's where availability zone comes in. And these sort of features a decade ago was unimaginable for a small business. But now, with the power of cloud, you pay $100 or $10 a month, and you can get the same. You can host something like Amazon, wherein you can guarantee your users any natural disaster or power failure or anything, there will be no outage to the website. So, make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so thanks a lot. So I think at this stage, this is what we call as infrastructure as a service, wherein you're just replacing the hardwares and saying that I want these servers, and we go get there. So now let's go to the next level. Okay, what is platform as a service?
Hi, my name is Mike Coleman.
Okay, so I think before we go to the video, okay, so now let's say that we are baklava.com, and we want to build our website, and we hire somebody, a freelancer, and say that ask him to go and create a website for us. So the freelancer says that I can build you the website, but I don't have time to continuously monitor the server. So we got a cloud account, and we ask him to host it into the cloud. So somebody else is taking care of the hardware and everything. Okay. So now let's say that in this one, what we will get is we will get a basic Linux machine. Okay. And then you will have to do all the installation from a basic Linux machine. You have to do all the installations and everything. Still, it takes some time, and it takes some technical skills. So I think I'm thinking, I'm me as a owner of baklava.com. I don't want to run a whole software shop, whole team, software team to take care of my websites. And I don't even know. I haven't made a single sale. I don't want to invest this much. So in comes what is something called as PaaS. Okay. So what PaaS does is, PaaS is platform as a service. So what PaaS would do is, it will take it one level above from infrastructure. So wherein your developer is no longer talking about which region or which database, or where to host the database, or where to host my VMs. I'm not requesting for a virtual machine. I'm not requesting those things. Rather, in a platform as a service, I'm going to Amazon and asking Amazon, saying that I just need a LAMP instance. Okay. I don't know how you want to deploy it, and I don't want to see how many machines you are using to deploy it, or I don't want to see what is deployed in the Unix machine, and I don't want to maintain the Unix machine. Okay. All I want is a LAMP service. So I should be able to go and ask, give me LAMP service and give me assurance that you will make sure the service will run 24 hours. Okay, so that is little bit higher level. We are not talking about infrastructure in this level. We are only talking about platforms. So LAMP as a platform. So we'll go through this video, and maybe this video will make it a bit more clearer, and then I'm happy to take questions or take it in detail.
Hi, my name is Mike Coleman. I'm a developer advocate on the Lights.
Are you guys, is the audio good?
Can you please mute your microphone?
Sure.
Thank you.
Sale team here at Amazon Web Services. And today I'm going to take you through a video that shows you some of the capabilities of Amazon Lightsail. But before we get started, I just wanted to let you know that you don't have to try to do everything at the same time that I'm doing it on the screen. We've got a written guide in the description below that you can go and download, and then after the video, you can go try it all on your own. So let's get started. In this video, I'm going to show you how to deploy a LAMP stack application on Amazon Lightsail. A LAMP stack application is an application that's built using Linux, Apache, MySQL, and PHP. And we're going to use an instance on Lightsail that has all of those components already installed. So let's go ahead and click Create Instance. And we'll come in here, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to pick where to run our instance. So I'm going to click on this link, and I'm going to choose Oregon because that's where I am. But there's regions all over the globe, so you should pick one that's close to you or your customers. So Oregon selected. Next, I'm going to...
Sorry, I'm just going to pause here. So for Beirut and Lebanon, if you guys were to host a website, which region would you choose? Which is closer to Lebanon?
Syria.
The EU Central server.
Oh, sorry?
The EU Central server, Frankfurt.
Okay, cool. So that makes sense. So that's basically the region which I was talking before. Under this region, if we choose Frankfurt, within that, normally you will have 3 to 6 availability zones. The availability zones are physical places, data centers where you would host it. So within Frankfurt, you'll see 3 availability zones, 3 separate data centers, which are at least 50 to 100 kilometers or miles away. So they are not impacted all at the same time, unless something really, really big happens. So that's the concept.
I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to choose a blueprint. Now I'm going to use this LAMP blueprint here. And as I said before in the intro, the LAMP blueprint already has Linux, Apache, MySQL, and PHP pre-installed. So all I need to do is add my code. So with that done, I'm going to come down and I'm going to use a launch script to add my code. Now I'm going to place this script in here. And what's going to happen is this script is going to run the first time the instance boots up. And what it does is it starts off by deleting the default website. So when you have a LAMP stack application, the Apache server has a website already that says welcome to Apache. So we're going to delete that so we can have our own website. So that's what that command does. Then I'm going to use git to clone in my application out of my GitHub repo. I'm going to then go in, there's a connection values file that has some default values. We're going to set the ownership on that. We're going to copy in the password into the configuration file, and then we're going to create our database. This is a pretty standard installation script. It's the same sort of script you'd run on a virtual machine or a physical server. There's nothing special about it because it's on Lightsail. It's just a set of steps that we need to go through to install our application. So with that done, we'll come down here. I'm going to set my machine to back up automatically. So I'll click this button here and we'll say, let's back up every day at 1 o'clock coordinated universal time. I'm actually in the Pacific time zone, so I'll change that. And then it'll be 6 o'clock Pacific daylight time. Come down, pick our instance size. So I'm going to use a $5 instance. And the price of the instance is determined by the amount of CPU, the amount of RAM, the amount of disk space, and the amount of data transfer that an instance has. This should be fine for applications.
Yeah, just wanted to stop quickly here for a couple of quick points here. So you can see here, just a minute. Yeah, so as you can see here, this is almost like going to a restaurant and ordering your burger or anything, you can pick and choose what is the exact size of your instance that you want, and you could start with 3.5 US, 3.5 USD, and saying that I'm just running a small website, and so I just need this much RAM and CPU and disk and all those sort of things. And maybe what you can do is that every hour you can change it. So you can say that during the nights when there is not much traffic, run a $3.5 instance. But let's say tomorrow is Christmas, tomorrow is going to be very busy. Just for tomorrow, run 40 USD machine wherein you get 10 times the configuration. So you have this sort of flexibility is what big corporations like Amazon, Facebook, and LinkedIn or whomever has been enjoying, which was never possible for a small business owner. But now with just $5, you can have this you can have this level playing field. And also on the backing up things, uh, like I said, if you were to use just infrastructure as a service, then only thing you don't have to manage is the hardware and the power and those sort of things. But you still have to manage the virtual machines. You'll have to manage the operating system. If suppose you have to upgrade the operating system, you have to upgrade the operating system. And one of the frequent things is that I don't know, for people who have ran websites, who have hosted their websites, you will notice that once you start hosting your website, there will be lots of spams which will be coming in. So lots and lots of people will try to spam your website, and that alone, taking care of the spam alone, is a separate work for a system administrator. And now with these sort of things, we're just saying that Amazon, you manage the VM, you manage the OS, just make LAMP available to me. Okay. Any questions here so far?
No, clear.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so let's go ahead and use the $5 instance. The next thing we do is we're going to name our instance. So I'll come down here and I'm just going to give it the name to do because the application I'm deploying is a to-do list application. And the last thing we need to do here is we need to add a tag. Well, we don't have to, it's an option. And I'm going to go ahead and add a tag here to identify this as the to-do application. And what this means is later I can sort and filter and organize my resources based on these tags. So I could say, well, show me all my databases, all my load balancers, all of my instances that are related to this app. So we'll just type app to do, we'll click create instance, and the instance will go off and get created. So let's give that a second and we'll come back when the instance is running. So the application is now running. We can see that by looking at the status here. I'm going to grab the IP address of my instance, and I'm going to go ahead and go to that in my web browser. So here's our simple to-do application. It's a PHP application running on the Apache web server. If we go up here and we look at front-end host, you can see that's the internal IP address of the Lightsail instance. And if we look at database host, that's set to localhost. That's because the database is running on the same server as the web server and the PHP engine. So all of that's running together on one Lightsail instance. So that's how you install a LAMP stack application on Amazon Lightsail. If you'd like to get more information on Amazon Lightsail, go ahead and visit aws.amazon.com/lightsail.
Okay, so I think the video is very simple and very straightforward and very clear. It sounds like you saw that how simple was it to get a very powerful machine with LAMP service and doing, you don't have to manage hardware, you don't have to manage OS, you don't have to manage virtual machines, nothing. If you are somebody like an application developer, if you know PHP, if you know how to write a basic, if you know database, if you know the LAMP stack, then you don't have to worry of anything about the VM or system administration, networking, none of these things. Amazon will take care of it. So this is only one example of what are the different PaaS services available. I'm just going to quickly see if I can go into my Amazon. Okay, just 1 minute. So this is basically AWS, and the same thing will happen in Azure and GKE. So if you go to AWS, you will see a host of things which are available. So if you want take anything, okay, so let's take compute. Okay, so compute, Amazon Lightsail, this is a PaaS, platform as a service, wherein you get lamp stack. Amazon EC2, this is an IaaS service, IaaS product, wherein this is just basically give me a virtual machine and I will take care of everything. So same way here, you have host of things here. And if you go to each and everything, if you go to database, you have a host of options available. You can have AWS Aurora, DynamoDB, Elastic Cache, Redis, uh, Red, Redshift. Sorry, under RDS you have a host of things. So you can you have endless options which are available for you now with all the clouds, and you can design your website as sophisticated. Basically you can build an amazon.com at the same scale, same everything if you want. So that's basically what I wanted to share on PaaS. Sorry, I had to shuffle between multiple tabs and stop sharing and everything. Okay, cool. So SaaS, any questions on SaaS, or are we good to move to sorry, any questions on PaaS before we move to SaaS?
No, all's good.
Okay, cool. Excellent.
No.
Okay. Okay, so now comes SaaS. Okay, so now let's say that we are in a better position than us hosting the whole, buying the hardware and everything, where we would have spent $2,000 to even get our basic website up and running. Then we moved on to IaaS, wherein we would have spent $50 or $100 a month, and we needed two people, system administrator and also an application developer. From there on, we moved on to PaaS, wherein we said that give me $5, I'll pay you $5 a month just for the server and the lamp as a service, and I will have an application developer who will go and create the website for me. So maybe I would say we invest around $200, $300 before we get our website running and get our first basic sale up and running. So even that is very hard for lots of small business owners, because it's very, very hard to get good website developers. I don't know, people who have already tried to do the same thing, you will know how hard is it to get a good web application website developer and to get the website hosted. It takes lots of patience, lots of effort before you can get even the basic thing running. And the key thing is your job, and your job is not to create websites. Your job is to sell baklava. That's your business. So how can we eliminate all those things, and how can we make it as simple as possible, so wherein I can just go and start, get a website which is already pre-built for me and start selling my baklava. So that's where SaaS could help you, which is basically software as a service, wherein here I'm not thinking about anything on the technology side. All I'm saying is just give me a pre-built website, and I will start selling my baklavas. Okay, so that's where SaaS is. And Shopify, I don't know how many people have used it in the past. Shopify is one such SaaS provider which offers e-commerce websites to people who want to start selling. So this is predominantly zero technology, 100% focus on business. Okay, so maybe I'll just quickly play the video. I think this once again is a very self-explanatory video. Any questions so far?
No.
Okay, cool.
You do your thing, and you do it well. Now, it's time to do it bigger. It's time for Shopify. Just getting started? Shopify makes it easy to set up your online store. Choose a theme, customize it to best represent your brand. Then, add your products. Manage your inventory, track your orders, get 24/7 support. Everything you need to launch your business today, now. Already built your brand? Now it's time to think bigger, way bigger. Shopify can help you expand into new sales channels so you can put your products in front of millions of shoppers while you market and sell your products, all from one place. Ready to bring your brand into the real world? Shopify is ready for that too. With a retail point of sale solution that lets you sell in stores, or markets, or pop-up events, wherever your customers find you, you'll be there to make the sale. Need to raise capital for your next big idea? Funding is now just a few clicks away. Stock up on inventory, hire new talent, expand to new locations, launch that new ad campaign. Anything's possible with Shopify Capital. Your funding will be available almost instantly. And with Shopify Payments, immediately accept credit cards, other popular payment methods, even different currencies. It's the fastest checkout experience possible, converting shoppers into customers. Your idea, your business, your future, powered by Shopify.
Okay, so that's basically software as a service. And does this make sense?
Yes, it does.
Yeah, I think predominantly this is basically saying that I need zero developers. Okay, I don't need to understand anything on technology. And normally this is what the business owners would need. So if I'm running a restaurant and if I'm running a baklava shop or cloth shop, anything, I don't need to hire developers. I don't need to understand which technology is easier, which technology is cheaper. I don't need to think of anything. I can only focus on my business, and not just for e-commerce. I think without us knowing explicitly, we use loads and loads of software as a service software. In sense, like lots and lots of things like Gmail is a software as a service, wherein we don't care about where it's hosted, who is hosting it, who is behind the scenes. All we care about is Gmail email service. We go to Gmail and G Drive. So there is quite a lot of services which we use, Facebook and Facebook ads and so many things. Can you guys name few software as a service things which you guys are using? What's famous in Beirut? In sense, like what are you guys using? Just few examples.
Can we say Etsy?
Sorry, yeah. I think Etsy, if you are a seller, yes. But if you're a buyer, then you are just a buyer. Does it make sense? If you are a seller in Etsy, then you are just going there and creating your own store and you're starting to sell things. So yeah, Etsy is one thing. Gmeet is one thing, wherein we are saying that I just need to host online video calls and I don't need to worry about anything. Gmeet is one thing, and I think slowly as sorry. Hello.
Is OLX considered as SaaS?
OLX.
Yes, OLX.
Yeah, I think that's where a small distinction is. Okay, so we have to see who is a business and who is a consumer. So OLX and Etsy or anything, if you are going in as a consumer, you are just a consumer. You're not the person who is the business owner there. You're not the person who is selling. So predominantly for people SaaS is for people who are trying to offer a service. So in I think eBay once again is a marketplace. Alibaba, AliExpress, all those things are marketplaces wherein it's businesses going in selling. It's like a market wherein you have people who are selling and people who are buying. But who is hosting Alibaba.com? Who is hosting Etsy.com? Who is hosting eBay.com? So if suppose you are the person who is going to host, you want to start something like eBay.com, what do? Okay, you have these 3 or 4 options. Then you can pick and choose which is, so it's somebody who is hosting the software. So software, who is hosting the software? If you are building an Amazon.com, then you would need a SaaS. But otherwise, Amazon.com, naturally, it's just a marketplace. Yes, I think I see quite a lot of things being said in the chat. So WordPress once again is a good technology stack. And if suppose you want to host a WordPress website, yes, of course, you will go either for a PaaS or a SaaS. And then Alibaba, eBay, AliExpress, all these things are marketplaces. Because if you are building your own Alibaba, then you would need a SaaS or a PaaS or an IaaS. And I don't know about Neotic, but I think Cabis is almost like Uber. Once again, all these things are marketplaces, unless you are hosting you're hosting Cabis by yourself or you're hosting your WordPress site. And crypto mining softwares, it depends where the software is running. If suppose the software is an online hosted service, then of course it will be a SaaS. YouTube channels, once again, the YouTube, once again, is almost like a marketplace between people who create content and who consume content. But uh, if you are hosting your own YouTube channel, in sense like not the channel, but your own YouTube, then you will need a software. Then you will go and purchase a software as a service. So at this stage, YouTube channels are more like marketplace things. Facebook, once again, if it's just about for things which you don't pay, for example, Facebook, just your chatting with people and those sort of things, then it's just software. But let's say within Facebook, you also have a bunch of other things like Facebook ads or Facebook as a Facebook shop and those sort of things, right? So those sort of things would be, you are looking for a software and Facebook is offering that software as a service for you. Okay, so I know this one is slightly it's a very very thin edge, in sense like a very thin border to say what is a SaaS, what is not a SaaS. Okay, so I think predominantly if you are a consumer, meaning in sense like you are just the person who is buying or selling, or you're the person who is not hosting the software, then I think it's predominantly none of these. If you are building your own Amazon, if you're building your own Facebook, you're building your own LinkedIn or own e-commerce site, those sort of things, then you would predominantly go and look for, I need a, or if you want to host your own blogs, then you would say that, okay, I want to host my own blog, I need WordPress to be running, I'll go to WordPress SaaS. Amazon Lightsail, when you saw the blueprints, it also had a blueprint for WordPress, so that will be taken care. Okay, so I think it's a new concept. and I think slowly as you start using your all the applications around you, you will slowly start realizing what is a SaaS, what is not a SaaS, and what is PaaS, those sort of things. But my objective was to predominantly introduce the concept at least, so you will start seeing it in as you start using things. And obviously, feel free to reach out to me for any questions. Okay, so I think I see a question on difference between SaaS and PaaS. Yeah, I think Faiz, Ismail, your answer is good. So PaaS is like machine renting, and SaaS is a software. Yes, you are basically renting the software. When I purchase a shared server, the server is SaaS. Or if it's a server, then it's just a PaaS. Okay, so if you're just purchasing a empty instance, like completely blank box, which is a server, then it can even be an IaaS, where it doesn't have, you're not purchasing any software, any applications on it. Then it's just, you go and purchase a server, then that's just basically IaaS. Okay. So I think for people who are talking about SaaS, IaaS, PaaS, and those sort of things, I think this slide has been shared. It's quite famous on internet. We can go through it. But before that, I would like to stop and any burning questions that you want to ask me right now. Okay, give example about PaaS. I think Amazon Lightsail is a PaaS, wherein you're neither looking for virtual machines, you are also not having a pre-built website for you. You are basically looking for, give me the lamp stack and I will host my own PHP code there. I will host my own website there. So that's basically a PaaS, Amazon Lightsail. So Netflix as a SaaS. So one thing is Netflix. So there, I think the entire as a service thing is becoming more and more common in the world now. So, for example, taxi as a service is Uber. Okay, hotel as a service is Airbnb. So there is quite a lot of models wherein uh, even our typical traditional things. So, like I say, when I say hotel as a service, that's basically Airbnb, wherein it's almost like a cloud, and I think that goes into a different concept and everything. But Netflix as a SaaS, Netflix is not selling you software, it's selling you content. So it's giving you content. So that's basically, you can say that content as a service, but it's not, Netflix is not selling you software. It's just giving you entertainment.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I think, is Google a PaaS? No, Google is not a PaaS. Google is more like a, I would say, if you are using search and everything, so it's a website. So you're not going there for service. You're basically going there for searching content, and you're getting something out of it. So I wouldn't say it's a PaaS, but it can be a borderline SaaS. But once again, I think the thin line between SaaS and what is not a SaaS is very, very thin. So normally, let's say, normally for a SaaS, let's say so softwares wherein you're going predominantly looking for a software. I need a software to do something, and I will go to a vendor who is providing it as a service. Yeah, Google AdSense would be a SaaS. That's basically, yeah. So you're looking for a software which can do some things, and then you're going there and you're getting the software. And I think the business model as such has grown quite a lot, and there are quite a lots of new business models coming in, and the entire idea of gig economy and those sort of things, wherein lots of new age websites, you do even there are lots of sites which would do uh, uh, manual labor as a service kind of thing, wherein if you're looking for a plumber or if you're looking for somebody, then you can go to an online website, you can go and get that particular service and you can pay for that one. You don't have to do anything. So those sort of things, I think that is a bit outside of the context, so we'll leave that one as of now. But okay, so hopefully just to progress through to the next slides, I think this one is just a technical slide which gives you a brief introduction on what is on-prem infrastructure, IaaS, PaaS, and a SaaS. So like I said, in terms of SaaS, you basically manage nothing. If I'm selling baklava.com, I go to software as a service, I buy the software, I upload my pictures, and I start selling. I don't care about runtime, OS, what servers, is it Amazon, Azure, or anything of that sort. But if it's a platform as a service, I still don't care about the OS, where what sort of VM it's running, and are the servers up and running, or I don't care about those things. I care about my code which I've written and the data which I have in my database. So those two are the things which I care and manage about. Everything is taken care by the vendor. And if you look at infrastructure as a service, then predominantly we care until the OS level, and below that, the networking, the hardware, virtualization, storage, how the disk is attached to the machine, and those sort of things we don't care about, and that's all taken care by Microsoft. And the least thing is on-prems, wherein you basically are taking care of everything, including getting your internet and those sort of things. And this is like the older model. So this is like maybe 10, 20 years back. So that's the model that people would be doing. So now I have an interesting question. Okay, so now let's say we are selling baklava.com, right? So for us, it seems like SaaS is the best option. We are thinking, why would anybody go to any of these guys, right? PaaS, in IaaS, on-prem. So that's no point, because we don't want to spend our time in building our own website, or we don't want to go hire people, or we don't want to manage our own servers, those sort of things, right? But what do you think? Who is this? When would you pick an IaaS, or who would pick a PaaS? So when is PaaS relevant for somebody? Any thoughts?
when it's more specific to the service I want to give.
Sorry. Hello. Sorry, I think your voice was breaking. Can you please repeat?
I think when we need to do something more specific.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think you are spot on. So software as a service is basically somebody saying that I'm going to create a software, and this is how I have built a e-commerce site for 10,000 people, and this is how I think e-commerce happens. But you may feel that maybe you are running your own designer wear clothing. So wherein you would want something, a site which is really, really unique, and you want it to be very, very specific, and you have very specific requirements, then you go hire a developer. They will build the website for you, and they will host it for you. And that comes with an investment and all those sort of things. But if you are somebody who is like just selling books, baklava, or whatever it is, if you're a small shop, small business, you just want to sell online, then this one makes sense. Maybe tomorrow you start becoming much bigger, you start selling 1 million baklavas a day, then probably platform as a service, you would say that I want specifically designed website for me. And when does IaaS become more relevant? Who would use IaaS?
When we want to do an environment for our company or something.
Absolutely. So I think IaaS, when it will come more essential is, So let's say we are selling 1 million baklavas a day. Okay, so which means that we are making quite a lot of money. Okay, so which means that then these services would be a bit more expensive, because these are, as your business grows and grows and grows, these services will become more and more expensive, because you're also paying for their staff, their things and everything. So then at some point in time it would make sense for you to do your own run with your own servers and those sort of things. Okay, or maybe that maybe you want a specific you have very specific requirements and you have enough time and money to invest, then you will go for an IaaS. This is for somebody who has no money, just started, get it running. This is somebody who has been there. You have a big business, you know what you're doing, you want to invest and get your things running. And still on premises are relevant. And this is for people predominantly, let's say lots of banks. Okay, so lots of banks or lots of very secure companies wherein they don't want to give their store their data in cloud. Okay, so let's say that I'm building a competitor for Amazon. Okay, and I don't want to be hosting my website in Amazon Web Services, right? Because they are my competitor and I'm competing with them. So it would make sense for me to keep my on-premises thing. Lots of times it's about data security, data privacy, and government data, secure data. People would generally not put it in cloud. Then it's changing, but still that particular thing would be a huge reason why somebody would go for a PaaS. Sorry, on-prem. Okay, sorry. I think we are almost towards the end, so I will just quickly run through a couple more slides here. So this slide gives you at a high level what would be the where would, if you are spending $100, where would each of your dollar go in between on-prem and cloud computing. So if it's a SaaS or something, most of your money would go in subscription fee or whatever the charges you would pay the SaaS vendor or Amazon or Azure or anybody. And probably 32% of the time would go in actually implementing it. Basically, if you are going to Shopify, get your website, it could take 32%, $32 would go in configuring the website, putting in your pictures, all those sort of things. And this is when you're running an on-prem thing, you have IT staff salaries, you have hardware, which is a huge thing, maintenance costs, training costs, those sort of things. So it's two different things. And normally, if you are somebody who's starting quickly, get running, you don't have much money, then you go here. Okay, and you have a bunch of things which has been listed for pros and cons of SaaS versus on-premise. I think I will leave you to review this one. I don't. I think these are pretty straightforward. Like I say, instance, like if in case of natural disasters, if you have an on-premise thing, then most probably you may lose the data. If your bank is all on-premise in one place, and if that place has an earthquake, then most probably you may lose the data. But if you're in the cloud, then you always have the data moving around, and that's taken care of, those sort of things. I think that's basically which I wanted to cover. I know I slightly overran by 10 minutes, but I have time and I can stay around if you guys have any questions, or if you want to talk on any specific thing around this one, please let me know. And this is my LinkedIn if suppose somebody wants to stay connected, and if you have any questions and those sort of things. But yeah, anything else, any questions, please shoot any questions.
Thank you so much, Mr. Siro. It was really great event. Thank you guys for attending. Hope you enjoyed it. So first, I would like to wish you a Merry Christmas and hope you enjoy your holiday. And then I will just post the form that you have to fill in.
Sure. It was a pleasure talking to you, all of you guys, and such a great energy and such a great interest for learning about cloud computing. Maybe you guys will build the next Amazon or Facebook or LinkedIn or whatever it is, and I really look forward to my heartiest congratulations and wishes for you guys. Take care. Anything
Thank you so
else,
much.
just let
Thank
me
you so
know.
much.
Stay connected with me in LinkedIn, and we'll continue talking on this one. Thanks a lot, Zaina, and over to
Thank you.
you.
It was a pleasure having you with us. Thank you.
Thank you very much.